Hey guys, how's it been? We are now in the Eurovision season, and that means that we're going to have a lot of things to expect for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Rehearsals are already ongoing right now, and we just got a couple of first looks from the acts that were rehearsing yesterday, and we're about to show it right now. Yeah, I was able to wink, but I'm gonna mention that in a separate post. But what's important here is that I have to take a revisit to last year's contest because I just wanted to. But yeah, so today we're gonna take a look at what I have ranked for all of the 37 songs from last year's Eurovision Song Contest 1 year after the show. That's almost a year though, by the way. But yeah, needless to say that, well, there are a lot of things that have changed since last year. And last year was a worldwide, Israel. That was the reason why those 5 countries have boycotted this year. Israel's result was a whopping second. Thank God it didn't win, but it was still too late. But yeah, needless to say that 2025 was a lot, especially for a lot of things. Moldova was supposed to participate, but they withdrew at the last minute because of quality of their national selection. And there were a couple of things that really happened, from that sauna to Tommy Cash's, espresso macchiato, and other stuff, and some interesting developments in this. But at least this last year's contest was a worldwide for me, especially that it produced a more great winner, of course, that is JJ. But we're gonna revisit right now because I have 37 songs to revisit. So what do I say about those after a year? Let's find out now. So let's start with the song that I ranked at the bottom. That is Georgia with Mariam Shengelia with the song Freedom. Needless to say that this song is still lackluster. It's still kind of a propaganda-like song for me, which doesn't even fit the needs though, but it's still a little lackluster. When I had to revisit though, well, it's still pretty much a little dated for me, so I still give it an B tier for that. It's still a decent song, but yeah. Moving on to Nina Sisic with Dobodoshli, which this was Montenegro's return to the contest last year, of which that didn't qualify though. But the song is still alright though, especially that it is still a powerful ballad, but the performance is a little odd thanks to, Inez's voice being a little odd to say the least. But yeah, but needless to say, Dobodoshli was an internal whatever this thing is, but still was decent though. But it didn't qualify because of how not so great, not so fitting in the standards is, and kind of a not so competitive one, I think. But still was a great ballad, so B plus. Up next is Prince with the song Mila, which represented Serbia. And from what I can say, I still feel exactly the same from what I have said last year. But there's nothing else much to say about it. His voice is still impressive, but the overall tone is alright, but still it's alright, so I also give it an B plus. And the most recent entry from Slovenia is Klemen with the song How Much Time Do We Have Left. It's still a beautiful song though, but it's still decent enough. It's still the same as I can tell from last year, but yeah, so I still give it an B plus, I think. But so that's a B plus for me, alright? Let's move on now to the A minus tier now. Yes, we're talking about songs that have sort of impressed me now, but let's take a look. So starting over with Marko Bošnjak with the song Poison Cake for Croatia. Now, Poison Cake still kind of impresses me a lot, especially at how interesting it looks though, but too bad it was really weird, to say the least. The overall tone is sort of wild. It's sort of a really punk feeling though, but I still really like it, and Marco's voice is impressive though, but needless to say it's still alright, so A minus. And performance is alright as well, so you get the point. Up next is Amy with the song Like a Party, which is the song that's recently being represented by Ireland before they withdrew from this year's contest. So Like a Party is still a little weird but decent song for me. I still have to say that this was a little lackluster though, so still the same, so A minus. There's nothing else much to say about it except that I'm alright with this song, but I feel this one would be better. And this is Mama Gama, right? I used to have to say that song was meh, to say the least, but now, ever since I'm absolutely have to say that I am feeling good with the song now, I think I decided to up its ranking a bit. But so yeah, so the song "One with You" is still great, but it's still not great for the most part because of how weird the performance, the lyrics, or whatever we call it. So I still give it an A minus, but still was interestingly alright though. But yeah. Oh, by the way, all of them were not qualifiers at this point though, except for a couple of them. So we're gonna get to it. So let's move on now with this one. Theo Evan with the song "Shh" from Cyprus, and it's still lackluster. It's still a little bit of an quote-unquote disaster pop for me. It's sort of an, but the song is alright. Especially I have to say that it is alright for the most part. I'm saying alright for too many times, but the performance is still a little odd. It's kind of giving me of an little more or something like I can't say any words about it, but still it was decent. So A minus for that. There is some very interesting thoughts about this right after I hear it again. So but at least there's something. Now let's move on to a finalist, that is Capri Ponte from that represented San Marino last year with the song Tutta l'Italia. And I'm still feeling alright with that song. It still somehow shows the culture of another country. That this song was actually the theme song from Sanremo last year, but still A minus. There's nothing else much to say about it. I also had to say for the same thing as Melody with Esa Diva from Spain. There's nothing else much to say about this song as well. I'm still giving an A minus because of how impressive how they blend the culture, but too bad it's a very bad result though in the final. But yeah, but too bad they aren't even coming back for this year though. Hopefully if in an alternate universe, if Israel was indeed not being by the EBU or some sorts, and then Spain would have Tony Cox and Lucy Galis with Mare for that, unfortunately. So yeah, so Esativa gets an A minus, and so did Adonis with the song "Kiss Kiss Goodbye" for Czechia. From what I can tell, this song is still impressive. It's in pop balance and sorts, but the dance break is still great. But from when I rewatched the full performance from the second semi-final. I can't remember. Yeah, the performance they just literally took the audio from the rehearsal, the dress rehearsal, and into that video, which is weird, despite the fact that Adonis made a hiccup on the second chorus for some reason. So yeah, but needless to say, this was a very alright song and a very interesting pop ballad. So I give it an A minus. Up next is Laura Thorne with La Poupée Mons la Son for Luxembourg, which is also alright for the most part, especially at how impressive it is. It's still a great reimagining of Poupée Tessé Poupée de Son, which was the French Gall song, which represented Luxembourg at one point at the earliest times, right? Yeah. But this was a great song, but still was alright though for the most part. I really like her vocals, but at least it continues Luxembourg's streak getting to the final at least. But I don't think if they should continue that with Eva this year. So yeah, so A minus for Laura Thorne, and there's nothing else much to say about it. Up next is Red Sebastian with the song Strobe Lights for Belgium. I'm still even have to say that the song is still, I have to say it's still slayed Red Sebastian very hard, but not so much though. I really like the overall tone of the song, which is impressive, but it is still a very great song for the matter, because yeah, it is so wild. It's so wild, I have to say, that the vocals and everything else, it's good, but it's still not even have to qualify. So A minus. And last of the A minus tier is Remember Monday with the song What the Hell Just Happened, and oh boy, it just got null points from the viewers, of course. That's one of the two from last year, but actually two from the public and one from the jury. We'll get to the other two later, but Remember Mondays, the song is still alright though. The performance is great, but the focus is impressive. But too bad that they got 0 points from the viewers, which isn't great, but it is what it is. So A minus. So that's for the A minus tier, and let's move on to the A tier, and there are a lot. But first of all, let's take a moment for this. I decided to downgrade New Day Worldwise. You heard that right. I decided to drop my ranking for New Day Worldwise into a little bit because of the recent developments, and I prefer newer songs. So, a much better song. So, You Fall Love is a song for Israel, which shocked the world and even those five boycotting countries. Yeah, needless to say, this song was basically what it was. It's basically what it was. It's basically what has the same energy as Hurricane, and especially the fact that this song has some connections to the October 7 attacks. Yeah, these two have some connections, but Michelle doesn't have one. But yeah, Yvonne's song is still impressive, though. It still shows whatever this thing is, hope, strength, and some sorts. But still, it was impressive. But it's not for me anymore. So I decided to downgrade my ranking to an A tier. I think I used to rank this an A plus, but not anymore because of how the state of Israel is right now. So for me, this gets an A tier. If you have any thoughts about Israel, then please say. But don't say anything hurtful or anything political here, so it's just my own thoughts. Now let's move on to the actual real stuff. And this one's interesting. Moving on is Gojo with the song Milkshake Man from Australia. In Australia, you mean? Yes, he will be coming to Vienna this year. And the most interesting act yet on how the host to, I might say, distinguish Australia from Austria. And we even saw that coming. We even saw the mistake of having Australia being displayed, and many cases Austria being confused, mistaken as Australia in the grand final dress rehearsal in 2024, and then somehow the Eurovision store somehow labeled the Australian t-shirt as the Austrian shirt. thank you EBU for that. But Milkshake Man, it's still a very interesting song, despite the fact I really like the overall look. It still gives me a very interesting vibes with this one, but Gojo's outfit a la Benson Boone from Coachella last year, it's still good for me, but too bad it didn't even qualify. So, A tier for this interesting song of some sorts, but this was hilariously good. So, yeah, shake, shake, yum, yum for that. Up next, and interestingly, there was a couple of songs that were alright for me from last year, but now I decided to up its ranking after I decided to hear them this year. So now let's move on to Catharsis, a band that I absolutely have no words ever since they won Eurovision LT with their song Tavoakis from Lithuania. And I have to say, this song is interestingly good for most part, especially that the lead singer's vocals is impressive, the overall tone and theme is wild, and I have to say, this was a very packed, sort of an alternative rock song, of course, which is impressive. So, A tier already. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad that I decided to up its ranking for that. Up next is Barg, another act that I also up its ranking with the song Survivor, and I also slayed this song as well, which I absolutely had to say about that. This song is also great, especially at how wild Barg looks, especially that his look is so, hunk. Yeah, and of course, running on the treadmill thing is also impressive though, and also the overall vocals and everything else to lead up to the final chorus is impressive. So A tier. Needless to say, this was a wild one. Next up is Vibe with the song Woa, which was the latest song from Iceland, and Woa is interestingly good. Still, it is what I have to say, but there's nothing else much to say except that the song is still good. I really like the vocals as well, and the overall vibes is still great. So A tier. Same for Silver Blood with Bird of Prey. It's still a great song, but it still has some least expectations though. But at least it continued Ukraine's qualification streak though, at least for the most part. I still really love Ukraine. Yeah. Let's move on to Napa with the song Deslocado, which some of you may be wondering why. Because some of you had to say that this song is absolutely beautiful right after it hit the mainstream, and somehow it qualified from the second semifinal of all places. And right after hearing it this year, I'm still have to say this was beautiful. Even so, it's so better than this year's participants, but and needless to say, this was a great song, which I have to say this is beautiful. The Madeira Boys, or whatever we call it, is so great that I have to say this song, Deslocado, still gives me a lot of fun. Even some of my friends even liked it. Yeah, but I really love the song, which is kind of a contrast from last year though. The vocals is impressive, the tone is amazing, so 8 here. What a great song. The Automators has the same thoughts as me. Burman Like Me is a very great little nurturing song for me, which I have to say this is impressive. The overall girl power is impressive, and yeah, that was impressive. An ethno pop song, which has the same thoughts as basically Andromeda now. So 8 here, still has the same thoughts. Yeah, same as Saw with Hallucination, of course, still has the same thoughts. But yeah, I still have to say this. Her song is great, but I really like her vocals and everything else. There's that Eurodance song, you know, and Infinity is way better than this one. So you get the point. More on Infinity on my national final stuff. So let's move on now with Soame with the song Voyage for the host country. Yep, that other act that got 0 points from the public, and Vibe got 0 from the juries, but saved by the public with a couple of amount of votes. But yeah, so Zoe Miss song is still beautiful. I really love it, and her performance is impressive. Anything else to say? 8 here. Claudia is also the same. Astero Mata is also impressive. I really like her vocals, and you know the staging is also great. So 8 here. It's still basically what it was, and I had to still exactly had to say the same from some of the acts that I had to say from what I said last year, including Justyna Cieszkowska with Gaia from Poland. I still slay her vocals and everything else. I still slay her playing that violin, I think, and I still have to say I really like the Sago Era Chavudoa part. So yeah, Claude with C'est la vie, the song that last represented Netherlands, is also impressive, though I still really like it, so I still give it an 8 here. It's exactly the same. Of course, Scorcho Electronica is so slayed with this one. Serum is impressive. I really love Beatrice's vocals, and you know, everything else. It's just impressive. The beat is actually, you know, on sync, and I really love it. So this song is still great, but I decided to give it an 8 here for the standards. I really love it though, but still. Carla Alessandro with Lighter is also a slayable song, which I have to say this is impressive. His vocals is great, but the dance break is impressive, so I still give it an 8 here. Same for Mariana Conte with Surfing for Malta. The bouncing ball part is still the funny part, but it is what it is. It was used to be Kant, but EBU ordered it to change it because of some broadcasters saying that Kant sounds similar to the word Kant. Sorry about that. Let's move on now. Alborn Dinner with Bala from Germany. Still have the same thoughts from last year though. It's still a very danceable song, but yeah, but you know, the radio break at the performance is still great, so you know. And lastly, from the 8 year, Erika Wickman, I still slate Ecom as well, so nothing else to say. And now let's go over to the A+ tier. And I have 5 songs here, and yeah, we're now onto the top 5 now, so let's move on with Lucio Corsi with the song Volevo Essere un Duo from Italy. And yes, I might say this song is so beautiful. The quote-unquote poetic lyrics is impressive, and I really like it though, which sounds like an sort of a life story of that sorts, and thankfully his performance has a lot. He even brought his brother Tommaso to the stage, and he even brought a piano and an harmonica. Yes, you heard it right, he played an harmonica synced with a mic. Yes, of course. Yes, he played an, you know, harmonica, then put it near his mic, and then yeah, the EBU did allow that, and hopefully they should allow that for Linda's Violin this year. But yeah, this was interesting though, but he did somehow break the rules, but partially though, thanks to his permission from the EBU, but at least there's something. But Lucio's song is still impressive, it still has a great score, so 8+. Up next is Luan with Maman, still exactly what it was, of course. The song is still indeed a great message to her mother, of course, indeed. But yeah, it's still a great song, so 8+. There's nothing else much to say about it, except that it was so beautiful. Up next is Tommy Cash. It's still a very great song. Yeah, it's still hilarious though. I really like the overall, you know, funny song type, of course. The lyrics is interestingly hilarious, and the performance sort of changed that from a sort of a cafe turned into an, you know, whatever you call it. But somehow that intruder and the performance is the most hilarious part, which I found it hilarious. So I give it an A plus. Needless to say, it's still impressive. And I also have to just say the same thing as Kai with the song Bada Basto, of which is still sing along about, which is of course, I have to say that a song about them in a sauna in the forward dialect is still impressive, needless to say. But this was a very great result for Sweden last year. But still, yeah, they placed fourth and Estonia placed third, of course, and we don't talk about that. But yeah, Bada Bada Basto is still a great song, so A plus. And of course, I still have to say about this. All right, so we have done now. Wait, I almost forgot. Oh, we're talking about the winner right now. All right. Yeah, I still have to say Wasted Love is still my favorite out of the bunch. It's still a great song. I still really love JJ's vocals, of course, and I still really love the overall bridge. Of course, the chorus, the transition to an EDM style, whatever tone it is, and yeah. And of course, his performance is still impressive. Black and white, being in a boat, of course, and over the ocean, of course, with a lighthouse in mind. And yeah, that paper boat, yeah, that was also a great bonus because that paper boat actually came in from the music video. And somehow it left over in Vienna. Basel. It left over in Basel, which would head over to Vienna. That's the basis of an opening act for the second semi, or I think the grand final. I think, I don't know. I keep on forgetting, but that's another JJ reference. But yeah, somehow I even made a fan art of that based on that song. So I still give Wasted Love an A plus. So that's it. That's it for my ranking for all of the 37 songs of last year's Eurovision Song Contest in Basel, Switzerland. Just 1 year, almost a year after the contest, of course. There was a couple of, I might say, reflections that we had ever since last year's contest, though. But we have a couple of things to look forward to as we're about to head over to this year's contest. Well, yeah, that's a great way to transition on because as of right now, of course, we still have to look forward to some of the the acts that we're going to see in the first semifinal. As of right now, we're already done with the first rehearsals for the first, I might say, 7. Then we're gonna get the next 8 today, of course. The first look for the first 7 are about to be released and one by one today, of course. And as of the time I'm recording, it's 5:59 here Manila time. Portugal's first look should be released any moment now. And as of right now, I'm going to get along with it and just to get some thoughts ready as the Eurovision season is about to get a little bit wild one. But oh, and by the way, yes, I'll be sharing my own thoughts on all of the first looks and a separate post. I'm gonna post that on my post tab, and then once the second rehearsals came around and once the videos were first a couple of 30-second snippets of the rehearsal clips, then I'm gonna do a separate video and then the top 15 both post rehearsals, of course. And yeah, we have a lot of things to look forward to. So stay tuned for more of that. Check out my status log for my main channel, Duncan Nichols. Which you can check it out by checking on the main channel, of course. So with that matter, that's it for today's video here on ESC-DN. As you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. And you can also check out my socials, my link tree linked in the channel's homepage. My name is Duncan Nichols. Thank you for watching, and we'll always be united by music. We'll see you in my rehearsals post then.